So it's been about, I'd say, 24 hours since the whole big reveal that Overwatch 2 will not be getting its PvE mode that was announced back in 2019. I talked about it a little bit yesterday in my video talking about it being scrapped and the roadmap, but I want to go more in depth about the cancellation of the PvE and why it's a problem and why it's a bad decision in my opinion. But first, I do want to say that guts to Aaron Keller to come out and say that they're canceling it. It takes a lot of guts to come out and say the thing you've been waiting 3 years for, the thing that we killed the first game off for, the thing we announced way back when. Yeah, no, you're not getting that.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
That's canceled. Long gone. Don't even worry about it. It takes guts to come out and say that. So I will say that. And then I kind of do share a little bit of the sentiment that I've seen around that we shouldn't really blame Aaron Keller and the Overwatch team because they were put in a sticky situation or whatever. Yes and no. Aaron Keller, I don't think he should get the direct blame on it, I guess you can say. I can see why, where people are saying that he's put in a sticky situation, all the hate shouldn't go to him, which is right. I'm not saying send death threats or anything to him, lash out on him. He's just, I guess you can say, kind of like a messenger boy in this regard, I guess you can say. But about the whole Overwatch team, no, I think they deserve a blame, in my opinion, for multiple reasons that I'll go into in a bit. But yeah, I just wanted to start off with saying that. But to continue on, let's start with Overwatch 2's launch. Overwatch 2 launched with 3 heroes, a few maps, and 1 new game mode. All in saying that the PvE is coming. That's why the launch is so late. So 1 new tank hero, 1 new DPS, 1 new support, few maps, and my opinion, the worst game mode, push. I think it's atrocious. And then to the cherry on top of that, my opinion, a bad rank system. I personally don't like how it is. I know it's kind of the same as the first Overwatch with a different coat of paint. Well, I hate the new coat of paint that they have for the rank system. I personally just don't like it. But like I said, the reason it was like this and stuff is because there was all the hope that we'll get the PvE at that time next year in 2023 at some point. But obviously that's no longer happening. It's very frustrating that Overwatch 2 launched like that because we were told this just to not get it. So now that Overwatch 2 has launched for I think 7 months now at this point. Okay. Now that's launched, we know the PvE isn't coming. They killed off Overwatch 1 because of the PvE they announced back in 2019. Go back, think about back during Overwatch at its launch back in 2016. 2016 to 2018, I'd say, prime Overwatch, right? It was loved. I'll say it still had its problems, but it was loved. Constant updates, new heroes, new maps, great. They essentially killed off the game because they want to work on this PvE, the talent trees and the replayability and the story, the campaigns. Everybody's like, alright. Kind of sucks they killed off the first game, but this can be good. This can be a very good thing. A PvE in this universe, because the world of Overwatch is one of my favorite in gaming. The characters, the story, the lore is really great. So it totally fits a PvE style game. So they killed off that, developed it for 3 years or so, about that, 3 years or so, just so we don't get it. That is beyond stupid. You had one of the biggest games, one of the biggest FPS, and you kill it to do something else just for that one thing to not be released. It's crazy what Blizzard nowadays does. You're in the business of making games, but also to make money. doing this is not gonna make you any money. It's so stupid. Then moving on to the next point. I touched about it earlier on. So they used PvE as an excuse as to why some things are in Overwatch 2, like the launch, why it was kind of late, and other stuff. And then why some seasons didn't get some stuff, why it's kind of light, why it's kind of dead at a few points during the season. It's all because they're saying we're working on the Overwatch 2 PvE. Just hang on, we're going to talk about it soon. Well, give you an update when we can. Alright, we're like, okay. Alright. We'll wait here for you till you're ready to give us more about it. And since it's not coming out, why would you use that as an excuse? You literally just lied to our faces for whatever reason and not give us what we were promised for years on end. And you can't even say it's because, oh, maybe they just found out that they can't do it. No, it does not work like that in gaming. You know what you're gonna and not do way before the public gets to know what's going on. And Blizzard's a big company. You can't make decisions like that on a whim. They knew this way ahead of time. I give it a year and a half ago. So essentially before Overwatch 2 PvP came out. So they knew this was not coming out. So what were you working on? Where were the resources headed? Because it damn well wasn't for Overwatch PvP. Because we only got 3 heroes, a new game mode, and a few maps. So it damn well was not the PvP launch of Overwatch 2. So then, where was all the resources, the manpower, the development headed for? Because I damn well don't know. No one does anyone else know. And they haven't said where it was going. And they probably will never say it, but... So, what were you guys doing for the past 3 years? It's so stupid. Like, I would want to know where all the resources were headed. Since we're not getting the PvE. And then, since the PvE is not coming out, what's the point of Overwatch 2? Why not just have Overwatch update the original game with the new engine, the 5v5 format, the new maps, the new heroes, essentially a very elaborate patch for the heroes. That's essentially what Overwatch 2 was at launch. Now, there's no point. Like, what? So, not only now do we have just Overwatch 1, but a bit different. No, that's literally all it is. Just Overwatch 1, a bit different. I can't even say anything more about that. That's literally what the game is. Since the PvE is cancelled. And I know I'm saying the PvE is cancelled. It is. But it's more, we're getting a lesser version of it. Essentially what we've had before. I'm assuming what they're going to do is just archives, but a bit more elaborate with cutscenes and bosses and a bit longer in length to do. Is what the PvE story mission is going to be that's coming out in Season 6. Like, that in hindsight, in concept, is not bad. It's not a bad idea. But it's not what we were promised, and it's not what we were told, and it's not what we've been waiting for 3+ years. It's not going to cut it unless, for what a miraculous reason, it's just absolute fun. Which, hey, I always prefer a good ending over a bad ending. But knowing Blizzard Activision, it's not going to happen. I just don't see it. I don't want to be a pessimist, but they're literally just bad news after bad news with them. So I really don't know what they expect everybody else to react to. Be like, oh, we understand. Like, I guess. No. Obviously people are going to be mad. The marketing, the way you're hyping up Overwatch 2 was for this PvE. Now that we're going to get it, you better damn well have something else then. And the PvE, if that's not good, you're losing players and you're losing content creators to cover your game. It's just how it's going to go. Because a lot of people probably got Overwatch 2 because the PvE. They probably have the PvP just to play through the time till the PvE launches. And honestly, now that PvE is not coming out, they're probably gone too. And it's not even that you're going to say, oh, we're bringing the PvE every season. That doesn't matter. It's not the PvE that we were told about, the talent trees, the replayability. And that means if we get one mission per season, that's like, what is it? Season's like 90 days, I'd say. So 2.5 months to 3 months, around there, for one new story mission. Unless those story missions are godly and we're invested in it, that's not gonna cut it. Maybe 2 for the beginning of the season and the mid-season patch. Alright, maybe we can work something out there. Maybe you can get something going. But other than that, I think Overwatch might be on the decline again and probably die off for good this time, which sucks to see because I do like the game. But I think this might be the straw that broke the camel's back, because I know Flat said, like I mentioned in my other video, that he's gonna stay for season 6, test out the new content, the PvE, and if it's just whatever, he's moving on. That's what he said. He's a content creator. He covers the game. So if he himself is, that's what he does for a living, is Overwatch coverage and playing the game. Imagine a player that has nothing to lose or to gain from playing the game. You're just gonna move on to whatever else, Fortnite or any other single player game that's coming out. It's just how it's gonna go. Now, obviously, I don't want to see that, but probably the reality of the situation. So unless Blizzard knows what they're doing, bro, I think Overwatch is done. And it sucks to see. It really does, but I can't defend this topic. I'm not saying I would defend multi-billion corporations, but sometimes gamers get a bit too rash stuff. They might not think some things, but there's no defending this. There is no point. There's nothing to defend. We were lied to, given false hope. We were told to wait for years on end to just not get what we were told, and just to get it, but not to the extent that we were told. And it's not even being ungrateful. You set expectations, so deliver on the expectations. And it's not even that you announced it once and came out a bit later saying, hey, no, we can't do it. No, you were told, we're not going to talk, we're going to work on the game, and when it's ready, we'll tell you about it. It obviously isn't ready because you canceled the damn thing. But yeah, that's just my take on it all. Went a little bit more in depth on my opinion on the whole Overwatch PvE being scrapped. But thanks for hearing me out. Let me know what you guys think. Till next time, see ya.